In this video, we're going to be examining money demand. Households, firms, banks, governments hold money for their transactions. They also hold money for short-term store of value. So we need to examine what drives those decisions about how much money to hold in order to understand the demand for money, and then later on we're going to put it together with money supply to see how interest rate is determined in the market. Money demand has a number of determinants, including interest rates, income, and the price level. So let's think about how money demand, how much cash or demand deposit people would like to hold depending on the situation, depending on changes in the interest rate, in the real income rate, or in the price level. In order to do this, I'm going to give you a quick poll and ask you to think about this and provide your own answer. We're going to then put everything together. Remember that when we say holding money, we're talking about how much cash or demand deposits people are holding. We're not talking about how much assets they have, the stocks or other assets. This is only about the liquidity that they keep, for their transactions. So, think about this. Suppose that real incomes rise. People are able to buy more goods and services. Would they hold more money, less money, about the same amount as before, or maybe more, maybe less? Think about this for a moment and let me come back to you with an answer. Well, I hope you've chosen the answer A. And the reason for this is that when real income rises, we need to carry out more transactions. In fact, real income rising also means we're producing more goods and services. For all those transactions included in production, included in consumption, we need more cash for our transactions. And therefore, we need to hold more cash to carry out those transactions. That's why we say money demand goes up with real income. Now let's answer a similar question, but this time looking at an increase in the price level. So assume the real income is given, assume interest rate is given, other things are given. The only thing is changing is the price level. You have to pay more for every product that you buy. And keep in mind that when real income goes up, it means that with the price level going up, people who also sell goods earn more income, nominal income, so that their real income remains the same. So nominal income is rising with the price level. So with that in mind, let's think about this. If price level goes up, would people want to hold more money, less money, about the same, or maybe more, maybe less? Again, the answer should be more money. The reason is that we're buying the same goods and services. We need more money for our transactions because the nominal amount that we pay for the goods and services we buy is higher now. Finally, let's check this. If the interest rate rises, what happens to the demand for money? People hold more money, less money, about the same, or maybe more, maybe less. The answer to this one is different, less money. Interest rate being higher, it means that if you keep cash, you're foregoing the value you can get for it. If you had deposited into some savings account or kept it in some more illiquid asset, higher interest rate, higher return elsewhere, the opportunity cost of holding money goes up, and therefore, if interest rate goes up, people tend to economize on the use of money and hold less money. It means a little bit of hassle because every time they want to buy something, they need to switch their assets from illiquid assets to liquid assets to make the purchases, but if the interest rate is high and they get better return elsewhere, it's worthwhile to do. Now, with all these things in mind, let's build a model of money as a medium of exchange and also as a store of value and unit of account. As medium of exchange, we've seen that demand for money must be proportional to the price level and the real income. So that's why we're showing here that money demand is proportional to PY, P being the price level, let's say in GDP deflator, and Y being the real income or GDP. As a store of value, interest rate is the opportunity cost of using money, and therefore we've seen that there's an inverse relationship between interest rate and money demand. So we can actually summarize what we've discussed as money demand equal to some coefficient K, which is a parameter called propensity to hold money, times PY, price level times real income, and divided by interest rate, an inverse relationship with the interest rate. Let me highlight the names or label these variables. MD is money demand, I is the interest rate, which is inversely related to money demand, Y is real GDP, P is the price level, and finally K, remember, is the propensity to hold money. Okay, now that was algebraic expression of demand for money. One can also show the relationship between money and its determinants in graphic form, specifically the relationship between interest rate and quantity of money. Suppose the interest rate is given at I0 and people decide that they would like to hold MD0 as the amount of money in their checking accounts or as cash. If interest rate goes down, it becomes cheaper to hold money, makes transactions easier. You don't have to worry about switching between different accounts, and as a result, people tend to hold more money. So as interest rate goes down, demand for money rises, or quantity of money demanded goes up, and vice versa. One can look at the points that show the combinations of interest rate and money demand and trace it. As interest rate changes, money demand changes, and you get a curve which we call money demand curve. Like any other demand curve, it's downward sloping. And one can actually look at the impact of other variables, other determinants of money demand on this curve. Let's examine the role of income, for example, real income. So let's say income is initially, real income is Y0, and it goes up to Y1. Let's see what happens to money demand curve. First, let's look at the initial situation. Income is Y0, interest rate I0, and money demand is MD0, and here's our demand curve. Now, at I0, if real income goes up, we want to make more purchases, we need more money. So at I0, the amount of money that people want to hold is higher, MD1, rather than MD0. But this is true for every level of interest. Demand for money is going to go up for every rate of interest. So interest rate, money demand combinations are no longer going to be in the place they used to be before. They're going to be at a higher position. In fact, the whole curve is going to shift to the right.